I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation. Slow to impulse speed. Stay calm, everyone. What is going on here, number one? I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation. Strange. I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation. I shouldn't be so confident.
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
Stay calm, everyone. I shouldn't be so confident.
Engage! On screen.
What the hell is going on? I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation. Strange. Make it so. I don't know.
No response, sir.
Enlarge and identify. In my opinion, sir, they're gibberish.
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
Engage! Move to intercept. I shouldn't be so confident. Slow to impulse speed. I would rather outthink them than outfight them. Slow to impulse speed. Stay calm, everyone. I shouldn't be so confident. Let's investigate. Not good enough, damn it! Not good enough! Engage! Let's investigate. Engage! Slow to impulse speed.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation. I would rather outthink them than outfight them. I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I don't know.
We must intervene.
Slow to impulse speed. What the hell is going on?
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
On screen. Make it so. I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation. I would rather outthink them than outfight them.
Slow to impulse speed.
I'm Captain Picard. They seem normal enough. Stay calm, everyone. Engage!
Slow to impulse speed.
I shouldn't be so confident. Enlarge and identify.
Stay calm, everyone.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
Stay calm, everyone.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live in Technicolor from the beautiful Hollywood Hills, California. The show where the total retail price of their advice is $0. This is Timelines Talk. Featuring guest stars. Her merits bring all the boys to the yard. Riddle me this. It's Skycap. Is that a VIP? Get it away from me. She's twice as nice. It's Stellar Eyes. Dwarf action figure collector, Kapla. It's Stars and Garters. And now, there's no way he gets this intro right. Here's your host, Captain Idol.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first edition of Primelines Talks, the exclusive #1 show for all things related to Star Trek timelines. I am your host, Captain Idol. I am joined by my co-host, as always, Stars and Garters, and our two fantastic guests to the left, Mrs. Skycap and Stellar Ice. Thank you for joining us on the show this week. This week we have a much busier week. What we thought was going to be a nice quiet week, so we'll get some guests on and we'll have a bit of a chilled out stream. No, this is going to be the busiest week we've had yet, of course. We'll be talking about the potential new Mega. Booker is here to guide us through what looks like a new Mega event. A campaign extension hitting tomorrow. Can you hit those extended targets? Elusive treasures, they are back. And the clear message is, we're not quite sure what we're getting our money for. A portal update, it wasn't happening. Until it did, and an achievement so temporary that we never saw it coming. But before we get onto that, this week, we're going to pay attention a little bit to our special guests, Skycap and Stella. So thank you very much for joining us. How are you this evening, or this day for you?
Beautiful. Had the week off work.
Oh, yeah?
Can't complain.
Yeah.
Nice weather?
U.S. has Thanksgiving week.
Of course, us here in...
What's the Thanksgiving? I don't understand.
They do this weird thing involving a turkey. I don't know.
Just don't try to win an event on the Thanksgiving weekend. I don't recommend it.
See, I wasn't going to mention that.
We're 5 minutes in and I'm already getting stellar advice.
How long since we said we're going to have Stella on the show again have you been preparing that?
Honestly, that one was off the cuff. I'm pretty happy about how that went.
Oh, well done. Okay, so first off, top of the bill, as we always do, congratulations to the winner of this week's skirmish event. Congratulations to =J Lieutenant K from the J Fleet for getting what appears to be the third most highest score ever scored in an event ever. Big shout out to No Name Namer for pulling those statistics up. So that is a huge ask. I believe he got some... I actually don't have the score on hand if anyone does.
Like 18 million, I think?
It's something crazy. Some absolute crazy amount of points and a lot of tapping, but big achievement for you for getting that win in. This was definitely one of the most competitive skirmishes, sort of looking at the top 25s and looking at where people were ranking up and down as they went, definitely. As some of you know, those of us that go quite big on skirmish events, just getting 1 million is a lot of effort.
I think that's around 2 Bond movies, depending on how quickly you're tapping.
You can rate
Good
it.
few episodes of DS9, Voyager, depending on your poison.
Yeah, so congratulations. But, you know, and talking about sort of winning events, we'll come back around to Stella. You've won a couple of events yourself. You know the sort of struggles it is to get up in that high ranks and the kind of strategy around it. How would you prepare for an event like this? Sort of talking to anyone sort of watching this, thinking, "Oh, I might go for a number one." Sort of how did you sort of go into it preparing? Did you think, you know, I might win this one this week, or did you actually think, right, I'm gonna set a target and go for this?
For both of them, I kind of just wanted to go as high as I could. Obviously, I wanted to win, but that wasn't necessarily my goal. They were both Jizia events, so, you know, big surprise there. So I wanted to get as many copies of the gold as I could. That was before they had the gold preceding the event. They actually had the event gold, the event that it was. But both of mine were galaxies, so I had to make sure I had enough crons and resources. Definitely have to have enough time. So the first one was Thanksgiving weekend 3 years ago, and it was a 5-day galaxy, and I hosted Thanksgiving, so that was a little bit of a wrench. I did not burn a turkey, despite what Barkley or anybody else says. Turkey was fine. No turkey was burned in the experience, but you definitely have to set aside the time. If you have a family, if you have kids, a spouse, you've got to clear it with them that you're going to be eventing most of that weekend.
And how understanding were they?
Well, my husband was fine. You know, we planned. We had I had to do Thanksgiving prep ahead of time. The second event, I was at the Star Trek Con in Las Vegas. So that was not ideal at all. But lo and behold, there was a Jedzia event, and I'm like, I'm just going to push and get as many copies of her as I can. Luckily, I pulled it off and got all 5, so that was good. But yeah, you need to clear your schedule. Most of the people that win events either have a weekend where their spouse is out or away from the kids, or have time to do it, because you're not going to be able to do it if you're just playing here and there. You gotta be on a lot of the time, otherwise someone will overtake you, no matter what event it is.
So for those wins that you got, who did you get again? I think you told us last time, but who were your 5? Your crew, you have 5 immortalized.
The first one was Honey Bear, and the second one was Alt Future Jedzia.
Of course.
So, both of them.
We'll probably talk a bit like that.
Figure.
So you definitely did a lot of prep to think you're going to have a lost weekend, you know, even though apparently you didn't. If you planned on a Thanksgiving weekend and going and, you know, I can just imagine you sitting in the queue, you know, you go up to the front of the booth and there's William Shatner going, "Hi, can I take your autograph?" You're like, "Hang on a minute, just yeah, oh yeah, nice, yeah, cheers. Just sign this, yeah, all right, thanks, bye."
Sign my phone screen.
Well, I was basically in between panels. I actually met Terry Farrell when I went. And I was playing.
I'm winning you.
She had a panel. A couple of my former fleet mates had bought a photo op for me to take a picture with her. I was dressed as the 1701 Jedzia from Trials and Tribulations, and she was listed in the program as going to be in costume too. She had done Klingon Bride before. She had done different things, and lo and behold, she shows up in 1701.
That's amazing.
And we got our picture, and she was just like, "Oh my god, I love your outfit. How did you know?" And it's like, I didn't. I just wore this. So
I wish I'd known this before the show. I would have asked for the photo so we could have shown it, just to prove you weren't on the phone at the time.
You should have just said, "Oh, this old thing, I wear this around the house."
It was a very fun weekend, but yeah, I was galaxying between everything at the bar. You know, I almost pulled an all-nighter the night, you know, before the event ended. So definitely not an ideal situation. You want to be at home. You want to make sure your calendar's cleared. And yeah, just put in the time.
So I'm curious. So you mentioned that they were both galaxies. Do you indulge in pre-farming? That is, like, using, say, like a skirmish to pre-farm components like common to galaxies, or do you just kind of do it on the fly?
I pre-farmed for both of them. I ran out of items the first time for Honey Bear because I had no idea, but I had crons and I just kept farming. And I had a pretty good inventory for the second one. I'm not sure if I ran out because I was kind of farming as I went. So, yeah, I kind of did run out because I remember at the end I had to farm stuff. So it's good to have an inventory, especially for VIP 0. We don't have Warp 10. So it's longer to farm even with Warp 1. You want to make sure that you have time. You don't want to spend all your time running missions. So if you can have some of those items in inventory, that saves you some farming time during the event.
Absolutely. And it must be.
Would you go for a skirmish, do you think, if Jadzia were the reward in a skirmish?
I don't think I'd have the patience to skirmish the whole weekend.
Which is interesting because skirmishes are skirmishes are a lot more like galaxies now. I mean, they're a bit more sort of tap heavy as opposed to what they used to be.
It's tap heavy, but like the people who win are up for 40 hours, 70 hours.
Yeah.
They take little micro naps here and there, and I don't know if I would have the stamina for that. I would definitely try to get as many copies of her as I could, but I'm not confident I could win a skirmish because I don't know if I have the patience to literally be playing for 4 days straight.
Cool.
Don't worry, Stellar Ice. Only weirdos go for top 1 finishes and skirmishes. I don't know.
Wait. Sorry, who would do that, Stars? Anyone you know? I
can't think of anyone. Wait.
You moron.
Right.
Yes. Right. The first of many stickers I'm going to get in tonight. That's a huge, absolutely huge achievement. What would be your advice for anyone today? And especially for a Galaxy event, anyone today, and especially if they're free to play like you are, for going, if they wanted to say, I want to go for number 1, or maybe not number 1, or into those high sort of top 25s, even top 75 to grab that sort of free premium pack. What would your wise sage guidance be?
Prepare for the event ahead of time. Know you're going to spend most of the weekend either farming or building. Try to get a good inventory before you start. Make sure you have crons on hand so that if you run out, you can build. And just that has to be your priority for the weekend. You can't just be like, oh, maybe I'll try. You kind of have to have it in your head, have your calendar cleared, notify your family. Whatever you have to do.
Yes.
If you're going to go for it. Make sure you have everything prepared ahead of time and just go all in. If you're not prepared, then you'll fall short.
Do you have that policy set up in your life insurance then? In event of death by galaxy. Sky, you've gone pretty hard on a few events, especially sort of skirmishes previous.
I have never. Yeah, I mean, it's funny to hear you guys talking about those high ranks because I've never been able to crack the top 25. Even when I play a skirmish and I feel like I'm going really, really hard. This past one I kind of eased up on the throttle because I was starting to feel kind of burned out in the game, and I decided to just kind of like take it a little bit easier. But the one before that I hit like top 27, I think, like ranked 27, and that to me felt like I'd been glued to the game the entire weekend. I know that can't be true because people got like 6 times as many VP as I did, but yeah, I don't know how people do it. I have all the respect in the world for people who can get the like 10 million plus skirmish scores.
Definitely.
Yeah, a lot of patience.
A lot of patience, a lot of tapping, and probably about 3 devices so you don't run out of battery and you can quickly switch across.
Yeah, I definitely make sure that I've got like chargers in every room. I had to have a battery pack with me at Las Vegas.
That's a
I was
wise idea,
on the phone all the time, so I had to have a battery pack. I had to run up to charge my phone in between.
Now I'm just picturing that you had like the classic TOS tricorder, and then the bottom just had a big USB port. You just like. I'm
starting to think like when you see it get low, you're just like, sorry, I don't know your husband's name. Husband, start the car. Get the USB port going. It won't go. I need to charge my phone quick.
Yes.
That's interesting to me though, because I think when I think of like going really hard in a galaxy or a skirmish, it's just what Stars said about like put something on TV and just sit in front of the TV and just kind of veg out and tap tap tap. But Stellar, both of your wins, you were like really active. You were
That's
doing
crazy.
stuff in the world. Like, do you think that you
Not by
would
choice.
also? Yeah.
Most of the rest of the weekend for the Thanksgiving one, I was just in front of the couch watching TV and tapping. But
Watching Jets,
it was a 5 days. I don't remember what I was watching, but it started.
That means it was Jedzia.
Yeah. You can't prove anything.
And Thursday was kind of out, so yeah. Ideally, you want a clear weekend. You don't want to do it when you have events going on, when you have people over, when you're out at a convention all weekend, halfway across the country. Not ideal. Although I'm
serving the pumpkin pie and looking at your watch, like, is people ever gonna leave?
Also in Vegas, he was gambling all weekend at I think the poker tables, and he won one of the first skirmishes that they had. So again, I don't know how people do it. I ideally wouldn't do it that way. I'd rather have a quiet weekend at home, but somehow I made it work.
Kudos to
Now I'm
everyone.
just picturing like phone in one hand tapping away at skirmish, the other hand's like poker cards.
So you wonder why they've got all these bot checks in the game, but honestly, it's probably muscle memory at this point, just sort of sitting and tap. I know, we've all done it doing skirmishes. You just sort of go right, click, tap, 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 click, tap, tap, tap. And you do after a while, sort of. You're not really paying attention after a certain point, are you?
No, not if you can help it.
Sky, you were talking a little. You mentioned a little bit of burnout, and this is something, especially a lot of people feel, especially after auto mode has come into the game, and it's now skirmishes and galaxies are a little bit more intensive. Do you feel there's a lot more pressure on people to maximize their time in the game and sort of spend? I don't want to use the word min-max because it's kind of hard to sort of prove in this game, but literally try and eke out every little bit. What do you think is sort of the main cause of that, or at least for yourself as well?
I definitely, for myself, I feel that a lot. I feel like, I've got to, okay, a skirmish is coming. I've got to save all my chronotons and I've got to spend them all in the skirmish and get all the honor that I can. And like, for me, that applies to kind of everything in the game. I feel like I need to be setting timers to get all the ad warps that I can, and making sure I don't miss a gauntlet round. And it kind of builds up and up and up until usually the skirmish comes, and I'm spending so much time in front of the game, and I'm thinking, there's like other stuff going on this weekend I wouldn't mind doing, but I feel like I kind of have to be glued to the game. So that's usually when it starts to kind of reach a boiling point for me.
Yeah.
I think it's like to their credit that they've added so much stuff to the game, but it's worth remembering that you don't have to do all of it. Like even stuff like Gauntlet is completely optional. It's not like a daily reward, necessity or anything. So if you find Gauntlet really frustrating, it's okay to skip a round or even skip an entire Gauntlet. Same for, you don't have to set a timer for voyages. Like, this is stuff that I'm trying to remind myself of, because I'm not always that great at finding that balance.
Don't let the game.
You almost have to prioritize what's important to you. If voyages are important to you, you want to make sure you're sending out as many as you can. For those that want to get Red Angel or the new Gauntlet crew, they're going to be setting timers and trying to hit those top Gauntlet ranks. With events, don't try to go. I mean, some people are going to do it anyway, and that's cool, but don't try to go top 1500 every time and burn yourself out, especially if you don't have the resources. VIP 0, of course, are usually at the low end of the resources compared with the rest of the player base. So it's like, choose your battles. You either choose your event type, you go hard in skirmishes, or maybe Galaxy's your thing, or I know a lot of people really like the faction events because it's less time intensive, less resources. But if you try to go hard on everything, you are going to burn out. It's going to be too much, and then you're quitting the game. And it's kind of like,
and I have quit the game a few times, and then I always come back, and then I'm like, look at all this cool stuff I missed out on while I was gone for a year and a half. Like, duh.
I think it's various
That's
games
the thing
like
too. People miss them out. People don't want to miss out on the crew, the event crew. If you're getting the purples every week and you take a few weeks off, then you're now behind and you have to wait for them to come to the portal unless you're pulling packs. So it's like if you stop yourself from burning out, if you pace yourself and pick, maybe you don't have to clear thresholds every week. Maybe just get the purple crew. That's what, 130K. Then you're not burning yourself out, or just picking lower goals so that you're there and you can get the higher ones when you get the crew you want or an event you really want to play. But going hard all the time is not sustainable in most cases, especially if you have a job, if you have family, if you have kids. That's not a possibility unless you're going to be seeking a divorce lawyer or something. So definitely pick your battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually really good advice, because you mentioned, on the VIP Zero you have a lot less resources, and that extends to crew slots as well. Like, if you shoot for top 1500 in every event, you're going to end up with some real trash golds. You're going to end up with a lot of stuff that you aren't actually going to be able to use, and unless you throw a lot of dill into packs, you're not going to be able to finish them off. And you really do have to learn to go, okay, do I really like this character? Would they be a big improvement to our roster? You can't just go, oh, well, it's an event, I have to rank top 1500. And, like, it's not even just that. Like, maybe this is me being, like, a sentimental old fart, but, like, I have this thing of, like, say when, like, T'Pring came out, I was like, I could probably have ranked and gotten her. But then I thought to myself, well, I'm only either going to leave her on my roster and do nothing with her or airlock her. And for people who really like that character, who like maybe watched like TOS when they were growing up and they find that a really iconic bit of tech track thing, I have essentially deprived them by pushing them out of the top 1500 for aiming for something I didn't really want.
Yeah.
So if the pure like resource side of things like doesn't like appeal to you, think about the people who you're pushing out the top 1500.
That's a really great point. Yeah, I forget about that sometimes too. It's like a zero-sum thing. They're only giving out 1,500 copies, so yeah, it's good to remember.
If we talk about sort of circle back round to one of the main things that people save up for is getting sights on crew, and especially those are sort of in the stage I think all four of us are in, where we've got a lot of gold that we cannot shift. Super rares, they'll drop on Voyages at least. There'll be chances to get them at any level, but the gold crew you'll win from event, you'll get from 1 for 5, so you're kind of pressurized into getting a lot of honor, and the best ways to get to honor are pushing in skirmish events, or getting in a good fleet and getting those daily honor rewards, and just sort of completing your dailies, which I think a combination of all three, and this is what you were speaking to me about, Sky, was like combination of all three of those is kind of stressful to a point. What I kind of ask you guys is like, what do you think would kind of be a way to alleviate that? Because I say, we've spoken about old golds on this show before, and sort of how the backlog of 1, 2, 3, or 5 crew that just sort of sit there taking up crew slots that we don't really need them, but we can't get rid of them because inherently, due to their rarity, they're quite valuable.
Do you mean like mentality wise, like how to change your mentality so you're not, or what can the game do to?
A bit of both, really. With campaigns, they've sort of shown that they're going to put a few sort of older crew in there, and I hang on to a lot of older crew like Linus Paris, or sort of not older, crapper crew like Linus Paris, because I think, oh, maybe they'll be in the portal one day, maybe I'll keep them, and then I'm sort of, it's sort of, you're adding to the layers of stress in the game that you don't need. What do you think, like, both someone can do themselves and also the game could do to help alleviate that?
Well, I think one thing is, don't pressure yourself to complete all the crew. Some of them are okay to sit there at 1-5 for a while. Cite the crew that will help you the most, that will give you an advantage over events, or make your voyages go longer. If you're a completionist, you'll never get there. I think I know 2 people who have literally maxed all the crew in the game, and one of them doesn't play anymore. He finished them all and retired, and the other one still plays, and he's got all the crew. It's like, hey, you won the game, but for everyone else, it's not really practical unless you're going to be spending the money for the packs to complete them all. I know the sites, the new tier will help people who buy the campaign. They'll get the extra gold site. It'll help them. And the honor sales are a big help for anybody because you get that site with the behold. That's what 40K, I think, is what it is. So we definitely like the honor sales. So for anyone watching who's at the game, keep them coming. That helps to have the citation to be able to finish off some of the crew. That'll help, but you're never going to get them all unless you're willing to pay.
I think
it's sort of important to like set your own goals, as it were. Like it's easy if you have a favorite character like me with Worf or with Stella with Jadzia, where you can go, well, I don't need every Discovery or maybe Voyager crew because like Skycap wants to set that dangerous thing for herself. But like it's a case of okay, I'm only missing one Worf in the entire game, and it's like if I could finish every Worf, I'd be like, you know what, that's me kind of good. Like obviously they'll keep on adding him because he's not going to have variants forever, but that's the kind of short-term, smaller-end goal that you can use to kind of motivate yourself, I find.
Yeah, I think that's motivating, and it's also focusing, because now if you get a B gold and it has a new Worf, you don't even have to think about it. Or if you are trying, like Stellar said, to like kind of pick and choose your events, and you have, like for me, it is Voyager crew, and if if they're giving out a Voyager crew, I'm definitely going to go for it. But if not, maybe not.
Okay. This must be, for Stella, for the VIP crowd, this must be, equally as, or if anything, more frustrating because sources of honor are very much rarer for you. So, you guys or anyone playing free to play, you've definitely got to go harder in the skirmish. You've got to go harder for getting as much honor you can. Do you feel like that itself is almost a pay-to-win aspect of the game that you can't quite match everyone else? Not in terms of actual gameplay, because there's, aside from the gauntlet, which you can get a 1-star, there isn't actually that much pay-to-win stuff in this game. But do you feel like there is a sort of discrepancy between those that don't pay to play the game and those that do in the amount of progression they have in the game?
To some degree, yes. Obviously, if you're buying resources or you're getting packs or crew, you're going to be getting more things, and that's something. If you're playing VIP 0, you just kind of accept and move on. You're not going to be able to match those who are buying dilithium or have the campaigns or the monthly cards because we're not getting all that. But our goals, if you're setting your goals based on your game, so. You're not trying to match what everyone else is doing. If you are, then you're going to get a monthly card and you're going to switch over and become VIP, which is fine. We enjoy the game and we're comfortable playing at the level we are, but we are the underdogs. So we have to go harder in skirmishes. We don't get the gold sites from the campaign. So we love the honor sales because that's our chance to get the behold.
I'm gonna challenge you on that because I've seen VIP Zero's name in the top fleet leaderboard, so I don't think you're the underdogs. I will definitely say you are more determined than any other fleet. But no, you are right. You are the underdogs, definitely for your determination alone. This is the cool runnings moment.
Yeah, well, we're definitely picking and choosing. We can't go big on every event. The people who do win top spot are saving up for years. If it's a galaxy, they're saving crowns in inventory. If it's a skirmish, they're biding their time and again saving crowns and such. So it's like it's more of a commitment because our resources are less. But that doesn't mean we can't achieve some of the same things that those paying can. We just are more selective about it. We have to be smarter about our resources and pick and choose. It's not, I know in faction events, KM is a great fleet. They're always high on the leaderboard. They have the resources to go big on every faction event, but we have to pick our battles. That's kind of what it all comes down to.
Leading on, we have a question for you, Stella, from James Lucian Wicks, who sent a message through. He says, if so, are you on Ladies' Night tonight? Which this is apparently Ladies' Night. It would have been, and I have to apologise because Stella was, 7 of 1 was supposed to be on the show tonight. So we, unfortunately, she had personal commitments, but we invited Stars to come and replace me, who has equally as good hair. And I am now
Lawrence.
reminded that I have the worst hair on the show now. James asks, if you're on the show tonight, if so, would love to hear a bit on VIP Zero citation advice. Is it any different to? And I'm gonna post what exactly says here, because is it any different to regular, like avoid immortalized to hold out for the portal? What I can say is, are you sort of holding things to sort of hold out for sort of portal crew, or how are you holding out on things for this?
Well, for purple beholds, yes. Lots of us have most of the purple crew finished. Obviously, they just did a portal update, so now there's a big pool that we don't have. But before the update, I think I only had 7 crew that I had to add stars on that were in the portal. So when you get to that point, if you do have a choice to not finish a character, which is pretty rare, you want to do that because you don't want the fully fused purple behold. And it's like, oh, sad trombone. With gold, with gold, that's not really an issue. I don't know of any VIP Zero that ever had all frozen gold behold. Really, it's picking the crew that's going to help the most. Sometimes finishing off a crew if you have 4 out of 5 stars will get you an achievement or get you a collection finished. Or just picking whoever will be the best stat. In terms of citations, I think our basis for citations is pretty much the same as everyone else's. You want to cite the crew that's going to help you the most. If you're looking at the big book, you're looking at tier 1, tier 2. You're looking at who will help your voyages or your base. So that's pretty much the same. But with the purple beholds, you can avoid a fully fused purple behold. That'll help you in the long run.
But definitely. Sky as well. So on the other end of the spectrum, you sort of you've been away for a while. As you said, you've had sort of year-long breaks. How did you find coming back into the game after a year? And I've done this with other games myself, and sort of you kind of gone, oh, lots of new crew, lots of new things. So how did you find? What stage were you in when you left the game to when you came back?
So on my original account, I started playing like very shortly after launch, and then I played for a number of months, and then I quit entirely. Like I burned out so much that I just completely flounced. I did the thing where you like change your password to gibberish so you won't be able to get back in. Like I was just like, I'm never coming back. And then I came back, so that was like late 2016. And then I think I came back in like mid 2018. And like everything was new. There were voyages and there was Gauntlet and a ton of stuff. And probably like weekend cadet missions, I think might have been new. And like so much stuff that I'm even forgetting because the game in 2016 was pretty bare bones. So that was really exciting because it was kind of like learning a new game. Like I didn't know anything about voyage strategy or gauntlet strategy, and those new elements of the game completely changed like what you think about with your roster. It used to be like base was really kind of all that mattered, and then they brought in voyages where the total, a crew's total score mattered, and so that changed your strategy. And then gauntlet where you had some superstars who had really good proficiency. So that was really, it was kind of exciting. But it was also like, what have I been missing out on this whole thing?
So you're definitely the sort of Burnham of the game, where you sort of started off in a previous entry and you've leapt ahead and gone, oh my god, detached nacelles, programmable matter, holy moly.
Exactly. Yeah.
It definitely come in. Did you have any other breaks, or was it just the one, wasn't it?
No, then I took another one.
Okay.
I did, but I didn't burn the bridge again. I kind of kept my login info and just kind of quietly left the game. And that break was probably about a year long, until just, I think this past May, I was just kind of missing the game again. And with the pandemic, had more like free time or more like anxious, like nervous, anxiety to like tap away. So I came back. I think that was May. I think it was around the time of the Delta Flyer Delta Flyer Kim event when he was the purple in that event. Yeah. So.
How did you find sort of this comeback? Obviously, it's not quite as shocking. They're not going, oh, how many new features? But you must have sort of pulled a couple of packs or, had a couple of voyages and gone, oh, this crew and this crew.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like you said, not as many new features, but definitely like a lot of really strong mega crew. Like I missed out on Picarda #1. A lot of really good campaign crew that I missed out on. That kind of changed the game for people. Like not having Garth. Like I didn't have any 6-second ship crew, and I go into arena and everybody's got Garth, and I'm like, oh, looks like that kind of broke the game for me in a way because I couldn't rank because I missed out on that one person. But otherwise, it was pretty similar to when I had left. But it definitely drove home for me that like I need to manage my like balance with the game so that I don't like burn out again, because then I'm gonna want to come back again. Like this is a pattern for me that I need to get a handle on.
What brought you back? What sort of made you think? Because you can understand the first time you put down the game and you go, oh, I'll check out again. But when you had your second break, you knew full well what was in the game. What actually brought you back at that point in 2018?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it was like COVID anxiety or COVID boredom. And one of the things I love the most about the game is like I love Star Trek. I watch a ton of Star Trek, but I'm not great at like remembering every minor character or remembering every ship. I'm not like that big on the details, but the game really helps me with that. It helps me like pay more attention to like little characters that I hadn't noticed before, or it makes me rewatch, like motivates me to go back and rewatch an episode and like pay more attention to the details, even the props, like sometimes the equipment in the game, which by the way, I love. Like props to the art department because I really love all the different equipment items that they create for the characters in the game.
Kudos to
but
the
even stuff
art
like that
design.
just like enhances.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kudos to the art design team for not only just getting the art right, but yeah, they actually go and research and do the item work as well, which is
which I love. Like equipping crew is one of my favorite things in the game. Just to see like sometimes it's really clever the way that they match items to the person, and like what goes into a person's uniform can be really fun. But yeah, that's like a main reason I play, is it actually enhances my enjoyment of Star Trek, and I think I was missing that.
So following on that, sorry, go on.
I was just say I agree with that. I'll be watching, one of the shows. Anyone who's been on Discord, I got the HMI channel like a few months ago, which has Star Trek from 7 p.m. to midnight. They do a TOS, a Next Gen, DS9, a Voyager, and an Enterprise. I absolutely love it. And so I'll be watching. So now I watch more Star Trek because it's actually on TV. I don't have to go to Netflix for it. I'll be watching it and I'll be like, oh, look, Geordi's using a hyperspanner. I know exactly where to find it. So look, and I'll see items that they're just passing around, and I can not only name them, I can tell you where to find them. And like, or I was watching a Voyager episode probably a couple weeks ago, and I had Tannis, and it was a few weeks. Okay, maybe it was longer than a few weeks ago, because it was a few weeks after his event, and of course he's just a guest star on the one episode. I'm like, oh look, there's Tannis. Like before they even introduced him, and like, and my husband looks at me and goes, how do you remember his name? And I'm like, oh, he was just in the event. Like that's the only reason I know. So it's neat. The game.
Don't worry, he's a top-ranked med base.
You should not play this game.
Connects more with the characters, especially the one-offs and the items and things like that. It's like, oh, I just had that in an event, or I just farmed that, or and it's a neat connection to have.
On that, I have a friend of mine at work. I've known him for many years, and he's the least likely person to watch Star Trek ever. But he is, and his wife, and they're sort of working their way through. And he comes into my office one day, and he's just like, I was just watching this episode. This happens. I'm like, yeah, season 3, episode 6, and he's just like, it's like, You know it. How do you? But the thing is, like, what you say is just like, yeah, it's because of timelines with these weird characters. As you start to remember, like, you go, oh, Mintak and Try. Oh yeah, season 3, Who Watches the Watchers, and you kind of like you start to join the dots a little bit more between some of these rare items. So yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you're crazy, but you're going, yeah, I know how many chronotons that costs. So what would you say? Let's both of you, both our wonderful guests that have joined us tonight. What would you say? And let's start with you, Sky. What would you say is your favorite character and your favorite episode?
Whoa.
Brace!
I have given you warning on this. This isn't a surprise question.
I knew about the favorite character, but I thought you were talking about just like within the game.
Oh right. Well,
And-
no, either or.
Favorite episode, that's like picking my favorite child, and I don't even have any children.
Oh, you, as someone with 2 children, you have a favorite. You just don't want to admit it.
I think my favorite card in the game, if I can answer it that way, is easy. That would be Fury Cass, who I picked up like a few months ago. And like I said, I missed out on Garth, so I didn't have any like arena damage crew. And she was the one of all of the like half dozen or so that there are. She was the one I wanted the most because I love Voyager, I love Cass, and she's just fantastic. I love her art. She's badass. I love that she's like, you can use her in arena and skirmishes, which obviously is like, you guys talk about event utility all the time. Well, skirmishes are like a third of the events. And if you can use this one card every event, you can tell I'm angling to get her tiered a little bit higher because I think she's a tier 3 and she should be a tier 2, but she's like an everyday, use her in events, use her in arena every day. She makes a lot of voyages for me. She makes a lot of gauntlets for me. She gets a 45% fairly regularly, and she's just badass and I love her.
I'm convinced. How do you feel? Because this is something we spoke about before. I'm going to drop this one on you. We've spoken about events sort of counting towards the tier of a crew. I know you feel quite negatively towards that. You don't think they should be counted?
I know you guys, I don't want to be like a know-it-all in this because you guys have put way more thought into tiering than I have. But
no, that's fine. Do it. Bring
I
it.
just like, I think that if you're really torn between 2 crew, then maybe event utility should be like a tiebreaker. But you're looking at even like a main cast variant getting like 1 or maybe 2 events every year. And then what are the odds that that's going to be a faction event where they really matter, and a faction event where you want to go top 1500, you want to rank, and having that crew is going to make a difference in your performance that event, like having that one person just like throw a few extra shuttle boosts in it and you can make up. I don't see the case for events having that much, like boosting a crew that much.
And Stars, your retort? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, no. I want to hear it because I've tried to like convince myself because I know that I'm missing something if so many great minds.
Well, that's the thing. It's not a case of you're missing something. It's purely just a case of you value different parts of the game differently, and that's just how people play. Some people don't give a toss about Gauntlet, and to be fair, I can understand that because it's one of the most frustrating parts of the game. And to be fair, I would actually kind of agree with you that Fury Cass is a really excellent all-rounder crew. Like, she's got a decent base, she's got a really lovely skill set, she's amazing in Gauntlet, she's got the ship ability. Cass does get events, and she gets. One thing I love about the Cass cards we have in the game is they're all a little bit weird. There's like Grandmother Cass, who's like Eng Med. There's Fury Cass, who's one of like the real big Sec Med crew. There's Tyrion Cass, who's like Command Med. They're all a little bit weird, and I kind of love that.
Yeah, I like that.
We have experimented, or well, I've been like at least like thinking about how we could potentially gauge the book differently depending on. I don't care about events, let's slide it to 0, and then like pump up voyages. But obviously that's a really intense like kind of calculation. And well, how do you weigh 1 second of an event cruise like thing versus ship ability and stuff? It's one of those things where the big book isn't really meant to be a objective. These are the best crew. It's kind of a case of you look at the voyage metrics, you look at this, you look at that, and then you go, this is what I can recommend to you. But here's the thing. if I got a behold of Captain Braxton, Breen Kira, and Niners Worf, I would pick Niners Worf. And I am certain I would get crucified for that. But guess what? My roster, my rules. And that's ultimately like...
I like that.
In the end, as you get further and further into this game, I feel like you get a lot looser with the crew that you want to take. And you should feel more and more free to pick whoever the hell you want.
Yeah.
If they're tier 1 in your heart, pick them. Even if they're not tier 1, who cares? It's your roster. Everyone who's an adult, and I hope you're all adults playing this because it's a gambling game. One of the great things about being an adult is making mistakes and owning up to them, being like, "Yeah, I made that mistake. Guess what? Feels good."
If you're not picking the crew that you like, then what's the point? I know there was a Behold, was it yesterday or the day before, posted in Discord with 2 really good crew and someone else who wasn't ranked very high. I believe it was a Jedzia.
I remember this post. It was.
Yeah. It wasn't mine, and I was trying not to even weigh in on it. And this person was like, "I love Jadzia. I really want to take this card, but she's ranked so much lower, and the other 2 cards would have helped so much more." And people were pressuring them to take the higher stats, and they're like, "But I really want this crew." And that's when I popped on. I said, "Take who you love."
Yeah. I have to admit, I was one of those people to say, take that other crew, because that other crew was Dahar Master Koloth. It was just like, you gotta get him if you can, but yeah, you are right.
And they're great, but who you love, because we are all playing this game because we love Star Trek. Nobody's playing this game because they just, like the gambling aspect or the crew. Some people start that way and become fans, which is great, but everyone's a Trekkie to some degree. So it's like, pick the series of people who you love or the crew that you love, because, otherwise, what's the point?
Absolutely.
Speaking
I
of,
think this is a good example too of the difference between giving somebody like game advice. Like anytime somebody posts a Behold on Discord, unless they've already chosen, they're probably looking for advice, and people tend to answer that way. But then it kind of creates this mindset that like, oh, everything needs to be for game utility, because like a lot of people see that Behold and see people like, oh, well, this person is better in Gauntlet and guest events, and this person doesn't. So it's definitely worth reminding ourselves, and it's nice to see. It was really refreshing. I remember that it was Lucas who had that Behold, and I remember like being pretty stoked that he like went for love against all advice.
And sort of like to a wider point, I used to moderate on the Timelines subreddit, and there was the introduction of, I believe, the Data Core bot, which would literally you would post a Behold, and as long as you formatted it correctly, it would spit out the tiers, and it would give you the big book entries. And then people were using the Reddit just as basically like, okay, what tier go? And the problem is like, not only was it like cluttering up the subreddit, but that's not even actually the real issue. The real issue is you aren't encouraging the debate. You aren't thinking about these crew in terms of your roster and who you like the most and who would actually be best for you. You are taking like 3 or 4 strangers' word that this crew is better, and that's why I love it when people post Beholds, because it gets everyone coming with different opinions and different like, oh well, they did this to me on my roster, and even if it's just a case of sharing a story about how they helped you in some kind of event or got you through like a load of nodes, that like the social aspect of this game is like a big part of like why I even care. So the idea of going purely for stats, purely for like the best game crew, you don't get far doing that. You don't last. That's like the number one way to burn out, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Stella, who's your favorite crew?
This will come as no surprise. 1701 Jedzia.
Hey.
I think she was actually, when I started in 2016, she was actually event crew when I installed the game. It was, I believe, either the first or the second run that event. But of course, I was new and had no idea. There's no way I could compete in an event. But I was just like, ooh, and that kind of drew me in. I was already curious, but that definitely helped. But she's my favorite. I think it's the best art. I obviously love Jedzia's, no surprise there. But I just think her and the TOS, it's cute. I love the episode Trials and Tribulations. has long been my favorite Star Trek episode. I think they did it so well. Tying in TOS, I even watch it when it's on TV. I think I watched it a few weeks ago. It happened to be on TV, and it still looks good. It doesn't have that dated look when you go back and see shows that try to incorporate older footage. It looks bad. It still looks good. I mean, you can still tell it's old footage, but it's still a great episode. I love how the characters interact and they bring in.
As an aside, I remember reading that episode used a lot of the same technology they used for Forrest Gump to sort of incorporate those sort of old and new footages. So yeah.
So yeah, so I love the episode. So and the character, and she's my favorite character. So that's my favorite variant. I think I've dressed as that character for at least a few Halloweens in the past. She's one of my con outfits. I wear her. I do my hair up in the bun. I don't have to worry about the spots, which is nice. I have the triple prop. So yeah, I totally go all in, but she's a great character. So she's my favorite card in the game, art-wise. Brings back a lot of memories from seeing the episode when it first aired back in the 90s.
All right, I've got a follow-up question, and I feel like this is an important one. Is there a single Jadzia that you're still missing? Because I remember last time we had you on, I think you were missing Launch Lieutenant Commander. Do you now have them all?
I now have all the Jadzias.
Hey.
I got her. I got her in one of the honor sales. I got her first star, and then I got her second star shortly after. So she's now 2-5.
Wow.
I now have every Jadzia in the game. They're not all immortalized. I think I still have Klingon Bride is 3-5, and she's 2-5.
You have them. That's the important thing.
Yeah. Very happy. I would have picked, just like you stars with picking Worf, I would have picked Lieutenant Commander Jadzia with anyone else in the Behold. I mean, even if it was a Burnham and I didn't already have her, I would have been like, nope, I gotta get my Jadzia.
Yeah,
so
no,
I
it's
was
just
very happy
instant
to
pick.
Yeah.
Is Captain Braxton? No,
Get him out of here.
Okay. How about your favorite episode? I've got a feeling this might be related, though. Oh.
Well, Trials and Tribulations.
Oh,
is
yeah,
my
there we go.
favorite, unless you're asking Scott.
No, I was asking you.
No,
Sorry, you
I
cut
begged
out a
off
little
that
bit
question.
Yeah, Trials and Tribulations is my favorite. It combines the two tracks. I don't really have a second. I mean, they're all good in their own way.
So it's not the season 1 episode, Dax.
Oh, I like the one where she meets all of her hosts. That one's really
Oh,
cool.
that's good. There's the
That's
entire one.
an excellent episode, yeah.
Yeah, when they really delve into her character, I think that's the first time I was just like, wow, this is a really awesome character.
And have you caught up on Discovery yet? We're not going to spoil, I promise, but
Yeah, I'm all caught
you
up.
have. So one of the, I'm going to try and do this in the least spoilery way possible because I understand some people haven't watched it here. But are you intrigued by Adira Tal?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. There's some good moments there.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. Let's move on into a little bit of news. Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Sky, for your input on there, and it's fantastic sort of talk to you about these things. We don't often get a chance to sort of move outside of us sort of three old hosts talking our usual rubbish and just making goofs all the time.
Big book bubble.
Big book bubble, yeah. No, we try and expand. We can't get anyone that wants to talk and won't swear a lot on the show will be fine.
Been good.
Let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now, because there's a lot happening in the game at the moment. We've got Elusive Treasures pack happening at the moment, and there has been a little bit of confusion, and we're going to do this a little bit later. We're going to do a proper one later. Let me just turn some things off here. My first question to you, Stella: Elusive Treasures, good deal, bad deal?
It's a good deal if you need stars on a lot of the there. I mean, they're non-portal
Interesting.
crew, which is great, but at this point, if you've been playing events, you probably have half the crew, at least the purple crew, already immortalized through events, either sighting or getting all 4 from the event. For me, it would be a bad deal. I would recommend to anyone in my fleet a bad deal because the chance of pulling someone you already have is pretty high, again, just through events. So I would lean towards bad deal. Although one of my VIP zeros did actually pull a pack, and it
Oh,
was
wow.
before they did the fix, so they didn't get any non-portal crew. So I think they're ticketing to fix it. But yeah, in most cases, it's going to be honor for most veteran players. But if you have dilithium at your disposal and you want to sight up some of those, or not sight up, but add stars to some of those crew, it's a good deal if dilithium is an issue. For VIP 0, I'd probably say it's a bad deal because too much chance of getting crew you want. And if only one of the beholds gets you non-portal crew, then you're probably just getting a lot of honor.
So just to clarify for those listening, there's 3 elusive treasures deals happening at the moment, where you can get some, well, formerly non-portal crew, but we'll touch on that in a minute. For the low price, I believe it is, and I'm going to go by dollar price here. I'm just waiting for my iPad to load up. So for $9.99, you could get, and this is where a little bit of confusion came in when the packs first hit. You can get 3 one pulls of the elusive pack, but I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that it was only the 3rd pack or one of the 3 had a chance of being elusive. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
I have
I
Was it
thought
guaranteed?
so. The
It was
wording,
guaranteed,
the wording
yes.
of the original offer was that it was guaranteed to have an elusive treasure. But I think that in actuality, the way the pack was programmed, none of those single pulls were guaranteed.
Yes.
So you could, I think, you could pull all 3 and get 3 existing, like 3 beholds with all existing crew.
Elusive treasure was too elusive.
Yeah, it was more elusive than treasure, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And speaking from personal experience, I took the lower price one because I wanted to finish off EV Suit Pike, and so I wanted the citation more than anything else. And my first one was 3 portal crew, and I was like, okay, that's a bit odd. It does say guaranteed. And then the second one was Reaver, and I was like, well, I've already finished, doesn't matter. And then the third one was Grim Wolf, and that took some of the sting out of it. And then Shan put that little message on the forum thing of this was a mistake. Please contact us and put a support ticket out. So they are working on fixing it, but that was unfortunate. I'll put it down as unfortunate.
The other deals are, as they kind of say, there are 3 10 packs and 5 10 packs available for sort of higher price points, which, in my opinion, man, not worth it. Bearing in mind you can get such wonderful cards as 17010 O'Brien, A.G. Robinson, Ambassador Villar, T'Pring, for all the Carlos Datas and Brink Heroes, you go, oh, I could get them. There is a lot of not great cards you want to be spending that much dilithium on. Sky, tell me, good deal or bad deal? I believe you've got a little something to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit that even at the previous text of the offer where it said it was a guarantee, I didn't buy the $10 offer because I didn't think it was a good deal. It did come with a purple sight, and then 3 beholds, which supposedly were going to guarantee an elusive crew. Even though I didn't buy it, I was really upset about the misleading, I mean, actually deceptive wording, because it's not like it was like Weasley worded or anything. It was like explicitly, we 100% guarantee you're going to get exclusive crew. And then they, people pointed out the mistake. They did fix the wording. Shan, I think, posted on the forum that people could open a ticket, but there was I didn't see them like reaching out to players who had bought the offer with any kind of resolution. I didn't see any kind of pop-up in the game that if you bought the offer, you can open a ticket. the whole thing left a really bad taste in my mouth because I feel like if you're asking people to part with actual cash, you need to be clear about what you're offering. And I don't think it was malicious. I don't think it was deliberate. I do think it was a mistake, but I also think that's not an excuse because they're the ones who know what's in the pack and we don't. So bad deal.
Definitely. No Name Namer, who I previously had championed earlier for giving us some amazing statistics for the event, actually says, oh, you could get 2 Prisoner Kims, Breen Disguised Kira, and High Roller Cisco and others, in which case I say, please leave. That's not fair.
You know what? By that logic, let me open up a premium pool. Oh, look at that!
Oh, it's a straight drop, yeah.
Like it works out well for some people, but others of us go 70 packs and we don't open nothing, and then still is sitting in the corner like. It's like it's pure luck of the draw, and the luck on this one not necessarily in your favor.
It can lead to some pretty vicious confirmation bias, which, you know, you see people posting on the subreddit, on the Discord, on the forums going, I got this pill, and people do, because no one posts their bad pulls, do they? Unless, you know, they're particularly sort of active on the social, you know, on that part of social media for the game. But, you know, everyone posts the good pulls, so people kind of go, oh, it's a good pack, and it's kind of a bit misleading kind of, there are only good pulls in this pack, where I can just look at the picture itself and go, that doesn't look good. You know, there is a lot of Tuesday crew we didn't go for in the first place, and a lot of people in the last mega we just kind of went, oh no. So it's, you know, the price point and the descriptions, like as you said, Sky, yeah, it was a little bit sort of, the text was should have been a little bit more defined, and especially with the layout of the pack, with the 1 and the 10 being where they are, and you think, oh, this is 1 pull, but this is 10 pulls, but actually you get a behold here. It's not quite clear enough to sort of explain.
It's already like a confusing structure, and then they put that misleading wording on it. I didn't like it at all. And the
image I've got below, and I got confused about this the last time they did Elusive Treasures, they sort of post an image, and the image we have is Zengi Riker sitting there with a behold, and you might think, oh, or by, you know, it automatically looking at the image, you think, I'm going to get a Zengi Riker with this. And they did this before with Mambo Picard. They put Mambo Picard with the Elusive Treasure, and you think, oh, excellent, I'm going to get this screw with it. Even though it's not stated, mentally you're already preparing yourself for something good. So it's, I can see where you're coming from, that they need to kind of explain this a little bit more and be a bit more sort of legible with how their text is displayed.
I just hope whoever writes the copy or does the copy for those has made like a little note to themselves for the next time. Because I understand that this happens. It's a holiday week. Elusive Treasures don't come up that often. But I hope that they like made a little note to themselves in their Evernote or their Dropbox or whatever, that the next time it comes around, like, do better.
Definitely. It kind of explains why, because especially when you're involving money, it kind of gets a little bit more of a sore point. Sorry, Stella, for excluding you there.
All right.
On a related note, we have had a Portal update, or have we? Well, it was very confusing because on the back of this Elusive Treasures, there was also a notification that got sent to everyone's mobile devices saying Elusive Treasures / Time Portal update, and people going, hang on a minute, what is that? Was that just part of the Elusive Treasures, or is there actually a Portal update? Oh, and some people were starting to pull out of Portal 4 stars from Voyagers. Yourself, Sky, you got, who did you get again? Was it Sour?
I got Flodder.
Oh, Flodder, that's right.
What a hoss.
And people were pulling these crew and going, what's going on? And then we got another notification saying there is not a Time Portal update. And literally, I think an hour later, there's a Time Portal update. It was just like, okay, thank you. So I think it was a little bit of, I feel so sorry for Wicked Realm Games yesterday, because there were definitely a lot of cases of left hand not talking to right hand. I think there was sort of a couple of departments putting out announcements what the others didn't know, and I feel so sorry because it looks bad, but I can completely understand how these things happen. So yes, there is a Time Portal update. There is a lot more new crew in the portal that you can now get if you're very lucky enough to have saved up a lot of packs to pull Behold, there are a lot more crew. It goes all the way up to, I believe. Hang on, I'm just checking my notes that I got sent. Stars, do you want to take us through the portal update? You've given me a lot of notes on this.
Yes, so like you can get a full breakdown of exactly who's been added to the portal if you check the in-game communication, or if you just go onto the Wicker Realm Games forums, they have a full list there. But I decided that I would, give you the cliff notes. So highlights include 1 blue jury rigger, 7 of the top 25 voyages, including Lucon, Sinister Picard, Control Leland, Niners Ezri, Picard number 1, Sky. Mycelial Kolba, Ishan Che Cisco, 16 new Voyager crew,
Woo!
but not a single new Jadzia Dex.
Oh.
And the rest.
But there is nine as Ezri's there, so that's technically a new Dax.
Not good enough.
Not good enough, damn it. Not good enough.
It's not the same. It's just not the same.
It is just not the same.
Not the same. She's the other Dax.
I think we're getting into, and being part of VIP Zero chat at some point, I've definitely seen some arguments between the Jadzia and Ezri, and there are people like, no, you should. Ezri's fine. It's fine. You just sort of comment to the chat like, no.
Banned. Banned.
I've never seen a cull so quick. So yes, portal updates happened. A couple of notes as well. Long outstanding crew, which should have been in the previous update. Bartender Tuvok, who was often sort of remarked as, is he in the portal or not? No one's ever seen him drop normally. He is now in the portal. Also in the portal, Scrooge Data, who was last year's Christmas campaign only crew. He is now in the portal. Also, Dr. Bones McCoy, who was the achievement only crew. You could only get him in that limited period, and I'm quite glad and quite relieved to see that they actually did put him in the portal, because that was always a little question mark. Are they going to keep these really exclusive crew? Which makes me hopeful that, the next update we'll see Homesteader Janeway or any more sort of any more of these limited time crew that you'll see come out. Eventually, yes, they will.
5 years later, commanding officer still not joined the portal.
The only one. Is it the only one? The only one? Yeah, commanding officer Cisco. Like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, we've now got human Arium and, like you say, Jerry Rigger Trip. No, not Jerry Rigger Trip. What's his name? Restless Trip Tucker. Restless because he's staring right at T'Pol. Let's talk about this week's crew, and I'm just going to take this moment to show off my new toy that I'm using for this stream. I've actually bought myself a Stream Deck and adorned it with all sorts of wonderful tips and tricks that I can now. Oh, hang on, I've got a cat invading. What are you doing?
Oh.
Oh, well, that seems like a perfect segue into our first
Does it?
crew.
You are the
he's
best cat
what a
ever.
sweetheart.
Oh, well,
Oh.
now that I have... Do you stay still now? Hang on, I need to close a window. Hang on, bear with me. Now that I have my own grudge,
Office co-host.
you are literally a grudge
Oh.
on me. This week's Mega... he is Mega Event Crew. He is the first to join us for the upcoming... Which, yes, literally breaking news, like 10 minutes before we started the show. The Mega has now been confirmed, and we can tell you that it is called... Oh, you put the
I love
name on
watching
there.
your cat, and I'm hoping it just starts popping all of your stuff off the shelves.
She probably will. Her name's Athena after a Battlestar Galactica character. I managed to get away with that one. I was quite happy. Yes, this next Mega is in fact it's Discovery and Mirror, but yes, you're a queen. I know. Off you go. It is. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm only going off footnotes. It is a Mirror bonus with disco characters. Is that correct?
Yes, mirror bonus
Yes.
with disco theming.
Yes. So we don't actually have the Discovery character bonus, which
the
we
feel of a discovery.
essence of Discovery as it's presented to you in the Mirror Universe style.
The essential oils of a discovery.
Yes. So yes, we have the recurring mega crew is Courier Burnham, braids and all. Emotionally declaring herself to the camera is going to be the 5-star reward you can get each week, which you will be able to get 4 stars of. We have the breakdown of the events, which will come as a little bit of humour to us. We have coming up next week as a hybrid skirmish event, Time's Up. We then have a hybrid galaxy faction, TikTok. We have a faction event, Stitch Saves 9, and finally another skirmish event, the 11th hour. So for what we were saying previously, like, we need more factions. Sorry, please. We have like, you know, a 1.5 faction event. Okay, albeit an improvement on the half a faction, but bearing in mind.
Well, I was going to say you can technically market this as 100% more factions.
It is 100% more factions. It is also. This is a lot of skirmishes we're having. Like going back a year or maybe 6 months, I remember lamenting there was this brief dark period in the game where there were no skirmishes. We're like, we need some skirmishes. Like, this is such a dry spot. And now I'm kind of thinking we're getting too many. Correct me if I'm wrong. This might just be me, but we're kind of getting too many. But this is another, and feel free, Sky, to jump in here with a bit of a goof. But I feel like this is another Cron-heavy event.
I will jump in. I like a hybrid because if it's a galaxy faction or a faction galaxy, even better, you play the faction really hard, or like you play your regular faction ability and then you play a little of the galaxy. If it's a galaxy skirmish, you can probably ignore the galaxy part if you have time during the skirmish part. I like a hybrid because you can kind of pick and choose. I did prove that Captain Idle is a goof for thinking that the last mega event, which was a Spock themed mega, was going to be like extremely Cron exhausting. It's really not that bad. You do have to have a little bit of a bank, but to rank, I find a rank in a galaxy or rank in a skirmish takes a lot less crons than you'd think. So I don't know. I'm okay with the schedule of the new mirror discovery event.
Stella, how does that look for you?
I like it. Factions are the ones I like the least. I think that's probably a VIP 0 thing. I mean, we can do well, but if you're going to be ranking to get the gold, you've got to be burning boosts and tokens pretty regularly. So I tend to gravitate towards the other events that, for me, I have a little more control over. Tends to level the playing field a little bit more, in my opinion, which, again, I like. Everyone else probably not so much. So I'm good with only having one pure faction. The hybrids I'm fine with, and kind of mixes it up a little bit, lets you do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I'm really excited for the skirmishes because I want to get more honor. I'm hoping there's honor sales for Christmas.
Idle honor.
Oh, hang on. I've got a button for this.
I love honor. I demand honor.
I have a button. Look at this. Look at this. Sorry, I don't interrupt you, but look, I've actually got you can't see it as well on the camera, but I've got Mariner on there on my button. Anyway, sorry, Karen.
So no, that was about it. Again, I'm pretty happy with it. Looking forward to the skirmishes to get more honor.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Stellar, on the faction events. I'm not as much of a fan. I don't like feeling like I have to check in at every interval. Like, again, it's that kind of balance thing. With a skirmish or a galaxy, you kind of at least pick when you want to play. In a faction, it's like, how about all weekend? I know a lot of people love factions, so I'm in the minority there.
Yeah. Well, like at least.
You don't have to be on it for a long period of time, but yeah, then you're checking it every 3 hours or every hour and a half. Sorry, Stars, I know I cut you off.
No. You are the guest. You absolutely get priority. But it's just people have been making bones about like the decreased amount of factions we've got, and also the placement of them, where they've always been like at the very beginning, and it's like, well, what's even the point of having all these mega crew if they give me bonuses for events I don't need them for? So they seem to have taken that on board, and we've actually got one in the third week, which is almost sort of the prime spot for it. Like third or fourth week should be the best place for it, because by that point, you've got multiple stars on your recurring crew. You might have picked up one of the top 1500 crew, so you can actually make use of a wider roster. I'm actually quite happy about this because it continues my trend of accidentally getting honor suicide cards that are really good for me. Because I had Mirror Lorca inflicted upon me, and I was like, oh, okay, well, he's going to get me a Mirror Collection threshold, so it's fine. And I do like me some Jason Isaac, so, it's fine. And then I get this, and I'm like, Meanwhile, Otto's over here with his finished niche of like, I have instant regret, and I'm like...
Just a sideline to chat at the moment. Robert Kaiser comes up with this. Is this card called Begrudged Book? Okay, but also Shireporn comes up with a very good little piece of text which I'm so using in the future especially for skirmishes and what we were talking about burnout earlier. After the jump start bit, or I assume it means the quick start, just being able to come in and send a few shuttles is a nice break from the grind lines. I like that. Grind lines.
Grind lines. That's
At some
good.
points it does feel like Star Trek grind lines. Yeah. Moving on.
Shireporn, I know you've done remixes in the past. I assume you're familiar with White Lines by Grandmaster Flash.
Your challenge, sir. Without getting us another copyright
I
violation.
throw down the gauntlet.
We actually got a copyright violation from Shire. If you don't recall, Shireporn last time gave us a wonderful remix of On the Road Again, which actually got us a copyright violation. We have Booker and Grudge this week. Is our legendary 5-star card, and the art is amazing. The cat is amazing. His ranks, not so much. He is Command Engineering Security, and he is pretty much exactly the same as Marquis Takeover Seska from a couple of weeks ago, except much worse. He's about half the strength. He's coming at Voyage rank 159. Did any?
He has a new hat.
He does have a new cat. It's Seska with a cat, essentially, and the cat's not helping because, like we understand from when Athena jumped on my desk just now, she was only getting in the way. Guys, how do we feel about her? How do we feel about her? How do we feel about our queen and Booker? Is this something you're going to go for? And her human, yes.
He's not human. That's racist.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Well, we don't know. I don't know. It's just spoiler territory.
I haven't seen. I mean, I don't know what you've seen, like walking through like Great Yarmouth in like the dead of night, but most humans don't have the little tendrily bits,
This is Norfolk. We'll get onto that another time for our American
Yeah.
viewers. This is very rural where I am. Anyway, from a perspective, did any of you get Seska? And if you didn't, are you inclined to look at Booker? In what light do you want to get him?
Well,
I did not for Seska. Sorry, I've got the delay, so I keep.
you go.
I did not go for Seska. I think wasn't she in a galaxy? I want to say she was in a.
Yeah.
I thought you loved those.
And I do, but I don't burn extra resources unless I really want the gold. So
Yeah.
I just cleared threshold, and that was it. I get the 10-pack, which was all honor again. Did not go for her. I really liked her art. I really liked the Booker art, especially with the cat. I'm a cat person. Earlier we heard my cat meowing.
I was wondering who that was.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, I would totally show him off. So I really like the art. I think it's done well. But the stats aren't enough to push, especially in a faction event where you got to use tokens and boosts. So I personally won't be going for him. Yeah.
I'm on the fence. I did get Seska, of course, being a Voyager nut, and she's only the third Seska in the game, I think, and the only legendary. So I think stats aside, I would have gone for her, but it helped that she's a pretty good card. I'm on the fence about Booker because I think like the art is really great, but is that really enough? Like Idle was talking about to use a crew slot indefinitely. I think the most recent goal that I went for just because I love the card was to Pring, and she's not going to do anything for me. I love the card. I love the episode. She's iconic, but is that enough? I don't know.
Well, allow me to try and sell you. So, he is Command End, which is a somewhat depreciated stack. He's not got the most amazing secondary base. I don't think it cracks 1,000. It will do with bonuses, but he is a top 10 command base, and those are very useful for events if you aren't, investing in campaigns and getting your Parvary Keikos out of the ass. His Voyage rank is not good. I can't lay claim to it being good, but he does have some interesting traits. He has Courier, he has Empath. I think he has a few other bits and pieces. They could have thrown a few more in there. He does quite a bit in the first few episodes we've seen. I don't think he would move the dial for almost anyone on Voyages unless you're still using someone say maybe Ardar Rafu on Voyages, which is possible, and one of our big book members does. And
Sam.
somehow he keeps on using him. And the thing is, command bases are quite useful. Unless you want to invest in someone I don't know, a Cadet Locarno. You need yeah, exactly.
Oh god,
there you go.
You mean Proto Paris?
I've automatically made him better than not Paris. I can't believe it's not Paris.
Yeah, but you could just say
I had to pass him
toss...
up in a Behold yesterday.
Oh really? Oh, you did, didn't you? You
it
were
was
so
Locarno
torn.
against the second star for Backpack Quark, and I had to go Quark, but I really wanted Locarno.
We had to remind you
Not
that
following.
Nicholas Locarno is not a Voyager character.
He's Proto Paris.
He technically did have an appearance in Voyager because he was on Admiral Paris's desk.
My other son. He's the Hugo that lives in the loft living off fish heads.
Oh, those identical twins. Oh dear. I think Booker is. It feels like they may have slightly lowered the bar on Mega Crew, because this is not an encouraging start. Maybe we're just starting off slow, but we're gonna have to see a gradual ramp up. Otherwise, recaps are a different prospect than the.
We talk about this at the start of pretty much every Mega. We go, oh, this could be all this hype. And I think we were very spoiled with the original series, Bridge Crew Mega, with Labra Kirk, Seeking Spock, Garth of Izar. That was a huge Mega, and I think kind of set the peak that everything's kind of sort of, we've had such a high moment sort of with that one that we've kind of put everything else in comparison. But yeah, like you say, maybe we need to sort of check our expectations, but also on the flip side, we've just had Carlos Data in a non-Mega event kind of. Oh, are we putting our very good friend DC Pilot, who often says,
"You think he gets used if he gets fused?"
He often says, "Are they putting the Met in Mega?" And someone, Gaming King Louis in the chat says, "Will this be a Mega or a Mega?" And you've got to look at the starting card. You go in. Last time it was Evie Suit to Pol, which we were kind of in a similar position. She wasn't great. She wasn't bad. It wasn't. It was a balance.
Yeah, to be fair, we have been talking about grabbing crew that we love because we like them. And if you're a cat person, this is excellent art. If you like Booker a lot, he's gonna have variants. I can think of at least 3 off the top of my head from the first few episodes I've seen, and hopefully they'll be more interesting. But I don't know, it doesn't come purely down to the stats. But I would say take a quick look at your crew slot situation. Think about who just got added to the portal and who would you prefer over him, and then make some mental calculations between now and tomorrow, and think about how much you want to invest.
I'm going for the cat. I want the cat.
There you go.
She is a queen.
It's sold.
I am very low on crew slots, but I will sacrifice someone, Linus Paris.
Linus Paris, get rid of her.
Just got to. At some point. I've airlocked better, so. Also, in this week, we are having a rerun event, and rerun events always come with a 400k bonus. This week, it is Gangster Kirk yet again. Astute viewers will note that this is the second time this event has been rerun. The previous one was for Frederick Leroux, and Frederick Leroux, can't even say it. We spoke about his Ophidian Kane quite emphatically several times. Is not an event bonus this time. You will be participating for Booker only. So at 400k, 400,000 VP rewards, you will get Gangster Kirk again, which, brilliant. I'm kind of in a mind that for those people that only got the 1 star of him, picked him up last time and then picked him up again. It's like we spoke about the Lorca pack last week. It's another sort of avenue for using up old golds, but Sky, Stars, Stella, a lot of S's in this chat today. Will you guys be hitting the 400k? At least if you're not going for Booker, are you at least going to try and grab that extra star or first star?
Absolutely, yeah. I have him 1 out of 5. Yeah. So
I have him 2 out of 5, so I'll get him to 3. I must have picked him up the first time. I'd be aware. I just leveled him this week, so he'd been sitting at 2.5 level 1.
oh, nice.
So
I have
I
him
finally
3 out, I have him 3 out of 5, and he's not the best daily use crew anymore, but for the original Captain of the Enterprise, like command bases aren't that many options, so he's worthwhile if you do chase factions, and Kirk is a good faction name. But again, crew slots, because we're about to head into Omega and it's going to get a little bit dicey. Yeah, 4 out of 5. Like by that point, I might be able to finish him off, and then I can potentially freeze him and free some slots up for someone really important.
Not a Kirk. Can we just talk about how this episode, a piece, just reminded me, this wasn't in the show notes, so I apologize, but a piece of the action is, opinions differ on this one because I think it's a pretty bad one, but I know Stars.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love this one. I don't even like TOS that much, but I love this episode.
It's
like
so
between Kirk and Spock, like trying to navigate a stick shift car. It's like you are a better starship captain than you are an automobile driver.
Okay.
And the Fizbin scene, like
I will give you
This
this.
is classic.
It is the final frontier of the original series episode. You watch it for the Kirk Spock moments, but the storyline is trash.
I don't know. I think you're being unnecessarily harsh there. Final Frontier has like 3-breasted Catwomen and Uhura doing a weird fan dance. Like, yeah, you forget about it. You watched it last night. How can you forget these things?
I didn't forget. I'm using those to reinforce my point. They're crap.
Piece of the action at least is like wholesome family fun for all, even though there's multiple Tommy guns.
This is actually my standard for TOS because so much of TOS I find not just bad but really, really boring. And so like people will talk about a clunker like Spock's Brain, and I'm like, Spock's Brain is fun. It's not a objectively good episode, but I'll watch it.
What is Brain?
Yeah, I think piece of the action is there for me too.
Excellent. So this week, there's going to be a lot of unfreezing to be done for those wanting to actually rank and get Booker and get some Gangster Kirk, because not only is Kirk the bonus, we have a Picard variant in the shape of Detective Dixon Hill. We also have a Kira variant. And who is the other variant? Not... Sorry?
Picard?
Data.
Yeah.
Data, of course, Carlos Data.
Oh,
So
Data, of course.
we have Data, Picard, Kira for the bonus this week's. Please, tell me, are you unfreezing Detective Dixon Hill? Are you unfreezing Anastasia Komenov? Are these two that are going on your roster? Are you to push for those alongside the heap of variants that could go to good use in this event?
I unfroze the event crew, the ones that give the three times bonus. I think I already had Dixon unfrozen from the last rerun of this event, but I pulled out Kira. In terms of purples, I have so many golds that get better stats that are bonus crew, because we had, 2 Picards that were megas, Mirror Picard, Pup Picard. I got Carlos Data. So if you got him or any other gold datas, he's event. I know some people have some good Kiras, Commander Kira. I think I have her too. Not sure if I leveled her. I'd have to check. I'm so bad at that. So there's a lot of good event crew that I didn't bother pulling out most of my purples because the golds will hold their own.
Yeah, it's kind of a different prospect depending on how deep you intend to run your factions. Because if you're going to be going 3-4 requisition shuttles deep, then yes, Tommy Gunn Dixon and your your Cardassian Kiras may well end up making the cut because yes, they have terrible bases, but 2 times is not a number you can take a sniff at. That's like an average gold if you think about it in those terms. But if your idea is to threshold out, yeah, like you say, just go for Anastasia, a Dixon, and probably your existing Picards and Kirks. Like we just had the Star Trek Day Behold, so chances are you probably have a 1 out of 5 Laborer Kirk knocking around on your roster somewhere. Like these are crew that get a lot of events. They have a lot of like variants that have come out through like campaigns, and you've probably picked them up in holds. I think 1 or 2 of them might even be campaign rewards. This is a wide pool. Throw your merits where you will. I think you'll do okay. It's going to be interesting to see how deep the competition goes because I did just check the forums, and apparently there is a slight error with Booker's stats. Like his set proficiency is going to get changed, but not by a massive amount. Yes.
I need to update some sheets.
And we've also been given the event notes for next week. The 4-star is going to be Linus, your Saurian science officer.
Oh, awesome!
And the ranked reward will be Sahil, who is from the first episode of season 3.
Oh wow! They've given us this.
They were quick on these event notes.
Holy moly! We may have to relook at book at some point, but yeah. Sorry, go on. Please.
Huh.
So yeah, okay, that's breaking news. We are hot on the presses.
What's that on your Steam Deck? What are you doing, man? What kind of show are you running?
I can't. The only thing I've got on repeat is Red Alert, which goes like this. It goes. Battle stations. But and also I've got that going on far too long. We need to wait for that to finish.
Shut off that damn noise!
Cancel Red Alert.
Cancel Siri. Cancel Red Alert. There we go. That's the only thing I've got programmed. I'll be waiting all night to use that.
Has not been recognized.
Okay, so yes, so next week. Okay, so there is actually a change in stats with Booker, so I'll have to look at that and see if that changes him somewhat.
I'm looking at that now. Yeah, it's tiny. He's going from 81 to 172 to 82 to 180.
Oh, okay.
So he's getting 1 extra point on the low end and 8 on the high end.
It's a minor adjustment, but it is worth keeping in mind that we say, Voyager 160. These crew are stacked very close together, so that could end up being 20, 30 Voyage ranks.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure. We'll have to have a looker at Booker.
Oh my god. Oh, good lord. I wish 7 had stayed.
Yeah, you're stuck with me.
Looking at Booker, so his sec is his tertiary, so they're just changing the tertiary up ever so slightly. That could mean 10, 20 ranks. So yeah, we'll see. We'll probably talk about that. Talk about that next week. Where are we? We have some notes from our dear esteemed colleague Automaton 2000, who has voluntarily abstained from this week to allow our lovely guests to take precedence, but he has sent us some notes.
Big mistake.
I know. I'm honestly starting.
He makes plenty of them.
I'm thinking about replacing him full time. This is working out well for an interview. I asked him the question, "Who's best to unfreeze this week?" and he says, Picard, Kira, Kirk, all very Command Dipsec heavy, but with Carlos as the feature crew, we're going to see a handful of Psi-Sec seats too. So, ones to consider: Iramudic Syndrome, Picard, Data Q, Galen, if you're going for a deep bench. Diplomacy is a super common seat. Only 2 non-golds across this almost 70 wide bonus pool with 800% diplomacy base. So that includes Roman Captive Kirk, Prospero Data. There is an oddly large gap at command across these 4 characters, even despite their skill sets lean in common, with only 1 gold crew between them topping 1,200 command base. You'll definitely want to Thor, Incognito Kirk, and Ensign Kirk if you're lucky to have got him off Voyagers.
Ensign Picard, you goof.
Sorry, Ensign Picard, not Ensign Kirk. I was reading Incognito Kirk. There we go.
Stella, do you want to take over as host?
Please do. And to round out these skills, you're most likely to see Robin Hood, still the game's number 3 sec base for purples. Evil Kirk, or if you were lucky to get him in the Tuesday pack, or now that he's in the portal, Android Kirk. Very small amounts of engineering among the purples here. Recommend relying on your datas, even partially fused, to cover your data seats. So thank you, Automaton 2000, for giving us those notes on that. Before we get on to a little bit of good deal, bad deal, which everyone's been waiting, because we said Stella's coming back this week. So are you going to do good deal, bad deal? Yes, we are. Yes, we are going to do that. Before we go on to that, we just want to quickly talk about the 2 limited time offers that are available this week. Data V, Legendary Tier 6, and Kate Eaton Kira. Are they worth your time and money? Let's talk about Data first. This being a Data, a variant faction event. Stella, do you have Data V? Just off the top of your head. Sorry, I'm dropping you in the deep end here. You don't have him. Okay. I was just going to then probe you about is he being good for you as VIP 0, but I do apologize.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Data V, he is falling out of favor these later years. Still a holodeck enthusiast. Guys, what do we think about grabbing him for the LTO for this week, for this event?
Well, if you're a big Brent Spiner fan, you like to see him mugging it up in some Shakespeare, then you can't really go wrong. And he has some fun traits like royalty and I think a few other ones. His voyage rank is plummeted a little bit. A lot of the datas are like on the lower end of voyages nowadays because they all came up very, very close to each other, and now we've had a bit of a drought. And a bit of his shine has actually been taken off because he used to be the #1 data site, and I'm pretty sure that Carlos Data has now pipped him for that, on top of being probably about 180 voyage ranks better and Engmed. So if you got Carlos Data, I can't say I can recommend paying $9.99 for a Data the 5th, who's kind of in the realm of decrepit legendary, as I think people have been calling them now. But if you have him 4 out of 5 and he'd get you a tier on holodeck enthusiast, and you really love Lucille Davenport, then maybe it's worth it.
Sky, is this someone you're going for? So I would ask you Stella, but I know what the answer would be. So sorry. It's very awkward talking about LTO deals when you've got the person that never spends money on. I'm so sorry.
It's funny. I don't buy LTOs myself.
No.
I'm not a VIP 0, but I don't spend a lot on the game, and LTOs are always kind of like a little hard for me to justify unless I really, really unless they're like a top 5 character for me. I do already have 1 copy of Data the 5th, so I wouldn't buy for $10 just to put a 2nd star on him. And yeah, I probably, even though I do eventually want holodeck enthusiasts, I know that that's such a long way off for me that he'll probably come up in a behold. I don't need to spend, right now to get him right now, and then wait another year to have Beowulf Kim or my other heartbrowns.
Not itching for
But
Lucille
but Beowulf Kim's a Voyager crew. You'll have to get him eventually.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But like, when am I going to get my Beowulf Kim?
When is he coming? Okay, next up we have Kate and Kira, who was not featured that long ago, so her appearing in the LTO is a little bit uncommon. Side Dip Command is also, well, like you would expect as event crew this week.
Yeah, she's got a pretty meaty side base. Like it's a very, very common skill set, and we've been like banging this drum for like the last 2 or 3 months. But I know that's pretty much because this is the new Command Dip sec, is this combination of skills and some permutation. I think some of the sting is taken off when it's a main cast character like Kira, who I think up until this variant had nothing but Command Dip sec variants. So I think this is her only variant with Psy, which, if you're a fiend like me, like that does something for you on your roster. And if we're going into, say, a faction with Psy seating like this one, having the only Kira with Psy does have its advantages. But again, this is I would class myself as like a mid-level, maybe like a bit more of a whaley sort of spender on a spectrum from Stella to Sky to me. But even I don't take LTOs because I find that for 1 star and the small amount of in-game rewards, I don't think that the price point is quite worth it. They've done a few modifications, like I think it was that weird New Year deal for Giorgio that I think I took because it had like a load of dilithium attached, and it was worth it in that case. But these ones where it's just no frills, $9.99, here's a star, I'm like, can just wait for a pack, and it'll probably be a better deal, and there'll be other stuff along with it. So again, it'll depend on your spending habits, but I would probably recommend her over Date of the 5th, just because Kira has a very steady event clip and it is a unique variant. And I could definitely see a Far Beyond the Stars Vanity in the future. Like, there's like still quite a few cards we're missing. It's a fan favorite episode, and I think Stella would agree with me that I really, really, really want Jadzia from that episode when she's got like the exaggerated Brooklyn accent and like the pearls, and then the really I love that version of Jadzia. So like, I want a whole mega of just those crew. I'd absolutely adore that, but that's beside the point.
The real question is, where's Roy
I'm
Rittenhouse?
definitely waiting.
Sorry, go on. Okay. I think it's time. I do believe it is in fact time that I press. Oh, hang on. Is it? Hang on. I got to find the right button. Is it?
Shut up, Otto, you moron.
Oh no, it's not that button. Hang on. It's yes, it's time for Good Deal, Bad Deal. So, prepare your screens. Our first offer today, please. Tell me. Amazing value, honourable pursuits. Purchase this special limited offer to power your game with 1,500 honour. Use honour to obtain valuable items, because that's what we've always spent our honour for, is items from the honour hall. Also get VP points, purchase up to 1,500 honour for, and this is in pounds, £4.59, which probably works out about what, $7? My translation rate's
Round about,
about $7, I believe. Good deal, bad deal.
Bad deal.
Bad deal.
You don't want to spend. You don't want to buy honor for items for this low price.
I can get more honor from that by getting lucky with all frozen beholds and a premium pack.
I'm pretty sure you get more honor just from completing your fleet rewards.
Yeah, 1,500 honor. That's like what, 1.5 premium packs.
Yeah. Or like, you know, maybe like 3 voyages, like cumulative, depending on how many crew you get. Like, no.
So we're gonna say that is. Do you know what? That's two more buttons. Right. Next time we do good deal, bad deal, I'm gonna get 2 more buttons on my little stream deck here and go good deal, bad deal. No, Mythbuster style, like, you know, bad deal. Okay. Next one. Huge value as a thanks. As a thanks for playing Star Trek Timelines, we're giving you this amazing special offer. Get 3,000 chronotons, 500,000 credits, and 1,500 dilithium. 30 10 premium packs. So that's 30 10 times premium packs to recruit the most iconic crew in the galaxy. One time only. $99.99.
Is one time only referring to the number of times you can buy it, or the number of times that like they're gonna show it because they're embarrassed?
Oh no, it's gonna pop up for the next 12 hours along with 3 other pop-ups that you have to close out every time you open your game. And heaven forbid you should have either the event flash or a double your star thing. Then you're closing like 5 things out. Sorry, I just did an auto ramp, didn't I?
Do you know the most egregious part of that is it? Do you remember when you used to sort of go to sort of a website and, you know, it would pop up and you go, oh, I'm going to click that link, and all of a sudden the advert would pop up. And you'd click the advert. I mean, you know, it'd have that little delay. Exactly the same thing's happening here in Timelines at the moment. It's like you play the game and you'd sort of like, you close the first couple of offers, and then you'd sort of be playing for about 5 minutes, and then the third offer would pop up.
Yeah, you're claiming a shuttle, and then the third offer pops up like behind it, and then you're like, how do I click that complete button?
I've just suddenly spent $99 for buying 500,000 credits. Shit.
I have accidentally clicked on the offer offers by mistake because they pop up when you're not expecting them. Luckily, I've never actually bought them. But I've done the same thing. I'm clicking, oh shit, how do I close it? It's like, do you want to buy this? No, cancel.
Oh,
So,
Every time Stella accidentally touches like the offer, she has a look at her fingers. She's like, "Oh god, disinfect this. That's gross."
Unclean. Sorry.
I was gonna say it feels gelatinous, but clean.
The important
Yeah,
question
no, I
is.
think-
Sorry, go on, Stas.
I was gonna say I think Stella speaks for all of us on this one. Though that's yeah.
Yeah,
bad deal.
bad deal.
Bad
Bad
deal.
deal.
Bad deal. Okay. Hang on. Oh, where are we? In this together, chronotons and more. A voyage token, some chronotons, a supply kit. Claim now for free. Limit of 1. Although I'm pretty sure I've
Bad
Play-
deal
I'm pretty sure I claimed 20.
for no reason.
Stella, please repeat
We
that. I
don't
think you
like
got cut
free.
off.
Deal that's- I'm always for free shit, so good deal.
Good deal.
Good deal. I love the care packages. Hope those keep coming. Those are really
Very
fun.
much so. We're always appreciative to WRG for them. You know, voyage tokens especially. You know, I think they're the most useful part of this for those of us going on long voyages, trying to complete those voyage exclusive crew, or just trying to cramp a big mount. You know, it's always great.
We're just
Supply kits.
forgetting our voyages.
Or yeah, that's kind of my more often not. You go, I can do 10 hours. Yeah, fine. Oh no, he's died. Shit. Okay, next one. Amazing value. Amazing value you can get for the low cost of $9.99 or whatever your regional currency is. 1,250 chronotons, 200,000 credits, and Annika Hansen 7, 1 star of. Good deal.
What?
Bad deal. It's an LTO. You get Annika Hansen for a tenner.
7 might have a different opinion because she loves
Yeah.
7, but for me it'd be a
Stars, how would
I
you
like
rate
7
Annika? Sorry, Scott, go on.
altogether. No.
Yeah. Stars, how would you rate Annika Hansen 7 these days?
When she debuted, she was like, because like Seven's had a history of being really bad in terms of bases, and she was like a pretty good one. But she's kind of like a bit unfortunate in that she doesn't count for Borg because she's like human in this instance. Even though I'm pretty sure it's just a hologram illusion, so technically she should still count as Borg. But whatever, we can get into conversations about bad traits for like another 3 hours if you want. Again, LTOs, you have to be like really top tier, and even then, I'm like, it's just 1 star. Bad deal.
Bad deal all round. Okay, we have a few more here. Okay. Get all the Vorix. Get like 100 copies of everyone's favorite Vulcan engineer. You will be the envy of your fleet and crush those nodes. You can get an army of Vorix for $249.99. It doesn't actually. Oh, hang on a minute. I've never seen. Have you seen this deal?
I've taken that deal.
The 3-star Vorik? Good deal.
Clearly,
deal,
still needs
yeah.
to like be in charge of my finances because I made bad decisions.
Yeah, we'll get onto that another time.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, this one is a bit of a goof. This isn't a real deal, but could you imagine? I think I've seen something similar to this early days in the game where they offered something like you could get any uncommon or rare crew for this amount of money. Stella, you're looking confused.
no, I'm good.
Bad deal? Bad deal. All right, moving on. Okay. Packs of power. 30, included in this offer, 30 items or crew. Get a 10-pack of premium crew and schematics, plus 20 standard packs. Get a guaranteed, and this is in purple, legendary or better crew. So this is quite
Or better.
Yes, this is quite confusing, and I can see why. Also, because thank you very much for Auto for getting all these together for me. This is quite confusing. Get 10-pack of a premium crew, so I'm going to assume that's one 10x pack. That includes the schematics anyway. Plus 20 standard packs? Is that just the credit
So the
packs?
credit packs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And a guaranteed legendary
Purple
or better.
legendary. Yeah.
Purple.
Legendary or better.
Yeah. But for
Got it.
10.
What?
Well, for $10, if you can get a 6-star crew, you should totally go for it. I mean, that's your own- pay it. Pay it.
Maybe this was the secret.
But
There
if
is a.
it's just
Sorry, say that again, Stella. You cut out.
I said if it's just legendary, then no. But if it's for 6 stars, go for it.
This is the secret. I think there is a 6-star crew out there, and no one took this deal because they didn't know. So.
Not
deal,
only
bad
is this
deal.
a bad deal, I don't even understand it.
No, it's so weird.
This really happened?
I'm going to assume so.
Apparently,
Wow.
In about 4 years' time, if we're still doing this, we're going to look back at the last mega, and they did a mega. That happened. They did a mega with only half of that, with the same reaction you said. Okay, next deal. We got two more. For honor, 225,000 honor and a citation. Limited time, $99.99. This was if you have recalled the honor sales in past, this was the upper echelons of the honor tiers, where you could get a lot of honor to help fuel. I think, Skycap, how many awesome beholds and a sight would that be?
So 250,000 honor. You would be able to buy
225.
6. Oh, 225.
Yes.
So you'd be able to buy 5 awesome beholds and sights.
So that's
And
essentially,
then you'd have. Huh?
so, essentially that's 11 stars for $100.
Right.
Good deal, bad deal.
No.
Mm,
$100 is a lot of coin.
There's a lot of moolah.
And
It's a lot of platinum, you know. Like I can't be throwing out my platinum like that.
yeah.
What do I look like? Like I got my own moon? I ain't got my own moon.
I'm gonna call
If
it a
it's
bad deal,
all
but not the worst deal.
that's a bad deal. Because if you get all honor, then you just getting more honor. I don't know. It's bad either way.
On the flip side, there was and I believe it. I'm just going from memory. It was $9.99 for 10,000 honor and a citation. How did you guys feel about that one?
I bought those. I bought all 5 of those because I had enough honor during the honor sale to buy 10 of the awesome Be Golden sites. And then they did the thing where every day you got to do like just a behold for 10,000. And so I went ahead and splurged on those.
Yeah,
No
like
idea.
that was one of the best. Like, oh, this is actually I kind of can't not say no to that. Like, it's amazing, but great fun as well. I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people like in their Discord channels were just like, look what I got, look what I got, look what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, attaching the citation of those actually puts them in good deal range because that's something guaranteed. The behold can be all shit, and you still have that citation. So
Yeah.
if I were paying, I would say that is something to consider. That might be
Wow.
a good deal. That's like what the campaign is. Isn't the campaign $10 and you get the legendary site at the end
Wow.
with all the other stuff? So
We've
That-
actually
that could
forgotten.
be
Sorry. Go on.
Beautiful
be a good
segue.
deal.
Great segue. We'll do one more good deal, bad deal, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Actually, I forgot to talk about that, but we'll do that now. Speaking of honor sales, good deal, bad deal. 10,000 honor for one legendary behold, or 40,000 honor for a legendary behold and a citation. Please, what was your choice here? This is not necessarily good deal, bad deal, because they're both good deals, but it depends on the degrees of what you want to go for.
I was just jumping at the chance to say good deal because everything else I'm always saying bad deal. So if I ever get the opportunity, I'm jumping in and saying it.
Yeah.
I think both are good deals depending how much honor you have and what you're looking for. The 40K guarantees the site, which is worth it just on its own because the sites are 50K. And then you get a chance of adding a star, and it's legendary, so you're not going to be getting the fully fused Purple Behold. So that's a good deal. When I do it, I max out as many of those as I can. I also get the 10,000 honor one each day because that's a limit of one. And you don't get the site, but because it's a legendary Behold, it's almost always useful. Again, I've never seen fully fused Behold. If you've got more golds and that's more of a thing, that might not be worth it for you. But for me, it's definitely worth it because I'm always adding a star to somebody.
Just a reminder, last time, this was not the last honor sale, this is the honor sale before. The last honor sale, there was also a, what was it? It was just a random legendary Behold. It wasn't even Behold, it was just a random legendary crew for the same price, but there was no limit on it. And I remember last time I actually put up the challenge, didn't I? Just as I was sort of returning streaming, saying, everyone vote, am I going to spend all my honor on this or the 40,000 ones? And thank God everyone chose the 40,000 ones. But as
not everyone,
as Stephen Reedon said in chat, said, good deal, still wish Idle did the bad one.
I voted for the straight drop too. I thought that would have been so fun.
I'm half relieved, half disappointed because that would have been a lot of fun, but God, I would have had to make some hard decisions.
I'm going to come out here with a slightly controversial opinion. I'm going to say good deal, but with bad implications in the long run.
Ooh.
Because
very nuanced.
If you think about this, if you think about what the honor sales have done to our conception of honor and how terrified people are of now spending it. Like, it used to be, oh, well, I can just buy a citation and that'll be a relatively, like, a good investment. And it was, you didn't feel bad about doing that. Now honor sales exist. And now you're constantly second guessing, when is it going to be? This is honor that I could be spending in an honor sale down the road. And for people who, a lot of their enjoyment from the game comes from that incremental increase of crew, having to ration your honor in that respect can become debilitating. So I'm going to say good deal, bad implications in the long run for like honor.
I think this leads into the discussion we're having with Burnout earlier, and that you're trying to save, like you said, Sky, you're trying to save every piece of honor you can. You're trying to push in skirmishes to get as much honor as you can for these sales, and it's kind of, is it kind of devaluing the de facto? Why would you look at the 45k Beholds if you're going to get 40,000 with a site at some point anyway? But
on the other hand, I buy every campaign every month, no matter who the legendary is, because I'm not getting sites any other way because I'm hoarding. So on that end, maybe that's good business sense on their part. I don't know. I don't know how it shakes out. There's
what we want as players, and there's what they're actually sort of report. Because as much as we sort of talk about the Discord and the forums, there's the vocal minority, as it were. But I think there are a lot of people behind the scenes that just sort of play this as a mobile game that are probably, if we saw the actual metrics. Oh, that's far too involved. Slight segue. Talking about the campaign, there is actually an extension happening, isn't there? There's another 20 tiers coming this month as a trial. You will be able to get tiers 81 through 100 again. There is no extra time. However, in the next 4 events at 75 VP and 35,000 VP, which are easily attainable by even the most newest players, there will be extra accolades to get, so you can, even free to play, you can get all 120 tiers. And as they're repeating the last set of tiers, you will get an extra gold site, you will get an extra purple site. There's loads more merits, there's loads more credits, there's loads more premium portals, especially free to play. There's another free to play portal, premium portal there. Guys, how do we feel about this extension as sort of, because they've said this is a trial? Would you like to see this full time?
No, it's awful.
Your words will be entered into evidence, sir.
Hold me in contender court. Just do it.
Good deal.
Good deal.
Good deal. Love it.
Stella, how do you feel?
Like,
Yeah, I'm happy. I'll get an extra purple site, which I feel like the purple sites we get aren't enough to keep up with citing current event crew. You're always a little behind, which means most people end up cite. If you're not buying packs, you're citing the faction 3/4s, and you're not worrying about the skirmish because they don't usually provide any bonus on your ships. So this will allow a lot of players to be able to keep up and cite the current event crew and kind of stay on top of it. And the legendaries for those buying campaigns, that's just extra stuff, which is cool. And then the extra premium pull for VIP zeros at like level 96 or 97 is great. We'll take all of them we can get because we don't get the opportunities to pull premiums as everyone else does. So definitely good for everybody all around, I think.
Yeah, like the only real criticism I've seen is people saying, "Oh, well, I don't have enough time to do it," or "Though this means I'll have to constantly be logging in every day." And it's like, well, if you're buying the premium track of the campaign, you should be logging in every day, really, because otherwise, why are you spending money on a game you don't open every day?
And just looking, sorry, an aside, I'm just looking at the campaign rewards now. At 750 VP, you get 300 accolades, which is what you need to rank. And I'm just scrolling through at
There's
700 at 35. 36,000. So bless you.
Sorry.
So there is 1,000. So for this event coming, they said they were going to change. It was going to be sort of quite flexible, but there is 1,000 sort of accolades to add to your existing tally, just for essentially getting up to the point of, just over the point where you'd get the mega crew anyway. So it is not a huge stretch.
Yeah,
That'll
definitely
give you
doable.
5. Yeah.
Speaking of new experiments, was there an achievement? I don't know. There was an achievement that wasn't an achievement. They announced, WRG announced that there would be an achievement to get an elusive pack. Yes, there wasn't. There are no achievements here. Move along. Which, if you send between now and I believe in a week, if you send 100, no, hang on, please correct me if I'm wrong. 100, it was 50. Sorry, yeah, I knew it was some base 2 decimal. If you send 50 shuttles, you would get a 1 behold from the elusive pack. Please illuminate me, because I haven't read the terminology. Is this guaranteed an elusive pull, or is it not? Or
Not
is it
guaranteed.
I don't think
just
so.
elusive? You could be lucky if not.
I think that's right.
So it is
I
just
think
pull.
it's
I think all that it guarantees.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's all but hold. So, but to be fair, that means that you have what would that be? That'd be 3, 6, 9. That'd be like 30 chances to get lucky, essentially, because you've got 30 crew. If you count each individual slot in your behold as a thing, that's 30 chances to get a non-portal thing. If you think of it in that respect.
Yeah.
I thought it was a single behold.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a 10 times.
Get out.
I thought it was a
Pretty sure.
single.
It was a single.
Oh, good
Okay.
deal.
Let me check.
Please confirm.
Do I do a new show? I don't know. I'm just here for the lulls.
Bearing in mind, I put this at the start of the show notes, and it was now coming up at the end of the show. So that's how organised we are.
Professionalism.
Professionalism. Oh no, it does say one.
You
pack.
was right about
It says 1 pack.
One
so I'm
pack,
guessing
there
that
you
is
go.
a one pack.
I think that's a single pull.
That is a single pull. So I
One
think
behold.
you will get 1 behold with no guaranteed chance of elusive.
1 pack is such a weird way to say that.
It really is.
Yeah, and I think if
Yeah.
I was to try, if WRG, if
One
you're
is not a
watching,
pack.
if you are watching, please, little translation for, for those of us who play this game a lot, who talk about this game a lot, for those in the for those in the forums, those in the Discord, we talk about this all the time. So the terminology is there, but for those who I just sort of played the game for the last year on and off on their sort of phone and sort of just joined a fleet for the sake of it, it can be very misleading. It can be very confusing. So just a little terminology explanation would be quite nice, or a little sort of refinement. Shall we, very quickly, before we end the show tonight, and thank you very much, Sky. Thank you very much, Stella, for joining us this week. Shall we do a quick beholder meter? A couple. We'll do a couple. Let's do 2. Stars, have you got your tricorder handy?
Well, you got a stream deck and you ain't got this going? What's
I
happening?
have, but you're here, so I'll give you. I'm not going to deny you the opportunity.
When am I not here?
You nearly weren't.
Oh, point. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. Okay, your choices are 3 stars on Helmsman Wyatt, 0 stars on Mirror Stamets, 0 stars on Minuet. I know the VIP 0 response already. Stella, please illuminate us.
That one, Mir Stamets, he was good when he came out. I think he's dropped since then. So unless you have a lot of slots available, he might not be very good. Don't take Minuet ever, unless you have her at 4-5. You know, then if you do that, you'll get her in Dabo and get the 6-star that you don't need. And the only time you ever get gold in Dabo, you know, I'm saying.
I want to meet the player who has this roster where they have Wyatt 3 out of 5 and no Minuet.
Hey, listen, he's in the portal now. This could happen.
Stamets easy.
Yeah.
Stamets.
Stamets.
Oh.
Stamets all round. Okay, let's spin the wheel. Okay. Ooh, 0 stars on Lenya. 1 star on The Bashirs. 3 stars on Returning Craft. Ooh.
That is starter and craft.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that would be the best.
Always take the star, is that right?
Unless
Usually.
there's a Jedzia.
Yep.
I'd go Bashirs tier. They're 4 out of 5 on my roster, but even at 1 out of 5, I'd still rather their more unique skill set than anything that Craft or anything has got to offer.
Sky?
I think I'd probably go craft here just for the higher stars, get him closer to being done.
Return him back
And
to
he looks
the
like a Power
British.
Ranger.
Was he?
What?
He looks like a Power Ranger.
Oh, I
Oh.
thought he actually was. Oh.
Got my hopes up there.
I was like, what? Tell me more.
Power Ranger Craft coming to a Mega
I had
event
the
TC.
Green
I
Ranger
can't
sword.
believe we have 2 crafts.
We do.
Right? He was in 1 short track, right? And that's it.
With
yeah.
and no spoilers, but that episode is now in contention for canon, so we'll see what happens there. But okay, next one.
McCannon.
Last one, and then we'll call it for tonight.
All right. Did you know that I was originally hired as a sound guy, and then they decided to keep me on?
Okay. This is going to be an easy one for Stella, but maybe complicated for everyone else. 0 stars on Elizabeth Denner. 0 stars on Mugatu. 3 stars on Mira Zephram Cochrane.
I definitely take the star.
Mirror collection. I think I take the
Oh
star
yes.
Mirror Collection is a tricky one. I'm gonna go Dana.
Ooh,
too. Wow.
go on.
I really love Where No Man's Gone Before, or Where No One's Gone Before. There's 2 of the exact same title pretty much. I love the tinfoil eyes. I love her character, like of being kind of like, I think she's like a lieutenant commander, so she's a relatively high ranking TOS officer, which I appreciate. Love the actress, and it's just like, I don't know, it's iconic. Like if I could get Gary Metch on the game, I'd go way for him. But this is a purely for the cool factor.
I
the whole
can't
thing.
believe until you told me recently. You said, "Oh, it's tinfoil eyes." I was like, "Oh, it's a metaphor." No, you actually said that's actually tinfoil.
Yeah,
Holy
because
shit.
like these special effects being what they were, they had to get like little bits of tinfoil like that, and they had to be extremely careful and go like that. That's why they've got that imperious gaze. 'Cause if they didn't, guess what? That's your eyes getting scratched out.
Oh,
What?
ugh. That's horrible.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget this is from the same era of television as. Don't worry, we've got this new amazing flame retardant chemical. It's called asbestos. We're putting it. Wrap your children in it. It's the thing of the future.
Okay, I was going to make this last one. We're going to have to do another one just so we can get past that horrible imagery.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Right. Zero.
I have one job on this stupid ship. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it. Okay.
I've got a button to replace you when needed. It's fine. 0
You're never
star.
ready, though, yeah.
0 stars. These are all 0 stars. So it's a choice between Delta Fly Paris, Par Wraith Ducat, or Age of Sail Data. Your first star on any one of these 3 crew.
No question. Easy Paris.
That's a pretty easy Paris.
I would take Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Had a very
No love-
unique skill set.
No love for Data?
He's pretty trash. He's got the collection.
Paris has
Yeah.
holodeck. doesn't
He's great if you need.
Sorry, say that again, Stella. You broke up for me.
Oh, I said Data's good for Age of Sail collection, but you've got Paris for the holodeck enthusiast, so and you'll probably get more use out of him at 1.5 than you will out of Data.
Yeah, and if you're going on like tiers of vanities, like holodeck enthusiast is way more valuable because it actually gets you a crew in the end rather than Age of Sail, which gets you a very pretty hat.
I have that hat. I've never worn it. No love for Ducat. Does he not have a gauntlet pair?
No, he does
No,
not. You're thinking of
think-
Bajoran Ducat, who does.
Ah, yes.
He has an amazing skills trait set that I think he has like villain, spiritual. Connection. I think he counts as Bajoran as well. Also, talk to me into taking him in a behold, and I don't think the other options were particularly great just because of the traits. And to be fair, I do love me some Ducat, and this was a great episode, but he's not a great card by any measure.
Not
Auto
compared to-
talked me into it is like the worst way to start a sentence.
That's why I've got
He does make
Trelane.
terrible decisions.
I'm so sorry.
I got like the Navarre out of a 90k credit pool. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah,
No,
now's
you
your,
didn't hear that, wife.
if you're gonna trash talk Auto, now is the time. You know he's watching.
Oh dear.
Oh bless. Okay, I think that
getting
is a
fired later.
fantastic time. Skycap Stellarize, thank you so much for joining us. This was supposed to be our sort of Seven was supposed to join us, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. This is supposed to be our girls' night, but this has been fun all regardless. We will do this again sometime.
Fun.
You guys have been fantastic guests, and it has been great to have you on
Awesome.
here. Stars, you've
Thank
done
you for
excellent.
having us.
Oh, always welcome. Stars, you've done excellent work as always.
I love you all.
Don't you just? And we will see you next week. We are doing a pack pulling stream on Saturday. Sky, I believe Sky, you might be joining us. I'll be doing
Yeah,
it
I might.
definitely. Come join us. It'll be the usual time on Saturday. We'll advertise it well in advance, but it's sort of more casual. We'll talk about the game. We'll just do some pack pulling, and it'll be chilled out as our non-Wednesday streams are. So see you then. But if not, we will see you next week. Stars, you got something to say?
I was going to say, be there or you'll miss out on the blue game.
Oh, yes, the blue game. Yes. For those that didn't watch us do this last time, every time we pulled a pack, we all chose, whoever was pulling, we all chose a rare crew. So Lursa Duras or Returning Craft, whoever. And in that batch, whoever pulled the most won the blue game. So we will be playing that again. And chat, feel free to come along and play as well. It is great fun. Pick a blue character. Whoever picks the most wins. Is actually more entertaining than the packs themselves.
Yeah, kind of. I got Captain Braxton, but screw it, I won the blue game.
Yes, I got that. I got that last Galora Rajal. But if we don't see you then, we'll be talking all things Mega, and we'll maybe talk a bit more about Craft and more crew that are in the portal next week on Timelines Talk. So from myself, from Stars, and from thank you very much for my guests, we will see you next week.